Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is a video we've been trying to plan for a while. And life's pretty fun.
Life sucks. Anyway, hello,
Yeah, anyway.
yes, everybody. So, a while back, we had promised to try and do the ending of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, or at least, like, the main game and some extra content, depending.
Yes.
Now, something to note here is that in that at that time, I had said that I would try to play the game at that point. Since Matt was having difficulty with it.
I'm bad at the boss.
Yeah, so this is my gameplay of the game when I had visited Matt at some point. So
yes. So Daniel's in control.
If it looks like somebody else is playing, that's why. I will also preface this in that before the recording you're currently seeing, I had played for about a minute so we could test audio and stuff. And I basically showed Matt how to dodge and guard. So
yeah,
we're seeing a lot of that going into this.
Yeah, chat, I just couldn't figure it out. Yeah. Daniel knows how to actually dodge because he's played more than one Kirby game before.
I mean, yes, but I've only played one with guarding in it and none with dodging. That said, it's enough information. It was Superstar Ultra.
I gotcha.
I will also preface this in saying that I'm pretty sure at some point I mentioned how to guard/dodge.
Yeah, I think if you went back to the stream bots, you could see that, yeah.
I think you do dodge at one point.
I think I kept dodging on accident.
Yeah.
Probably into the enemy.
But yes, we're not really going to talk a whole lot about the boss fight currently because, well, we've already seen this in the streams and, well, not really much to talk about. We will be talking about my strategy here, so...
Yeah, pretty much.
For those of you that have not played Kirby and the Forgotten Land...
Welcome to one of the final bosses. Good job on being spoiled.
Yeah, firstly, why are you here in this part of the video? But secondly, this is a power-up that Matt barely used during the game called Crash. And what Crash does is that by sacrificing its power itself, you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think I did like almost half damage right there.
It's a little under half damage, but as you can see, I no longer have a power-up. I did not collect any of the power-ups that were previously given to me. And, well...
You can see how that's
going.
going.
This capless. And this is intentional. What I had basically said to Matt prior to starting the stream was that I could probably beat the final boss of the game capless. So all three phases that Matt could not beat with power-ups, I would attempt to beat with simply using Crash to reduce down some of the time, and then the rest of it using the summon stars from boss attacks. And well, as you can see, it is working at the very least.
And that's first phase.
Now, Phase 2, I actually consider to be the hardest part of this boss fight, mainly because some of the hitboxes don't make a lot of sense, in my opinion. Like, I think it's more the summoned lightning and the impact zone from the fist slams that's annoying, as well as the falling rocks. Like, I don't know why this game has an obsession with, like, objects being only determinable and ranged by shadow, but it's really annoying.
Yeah, like that feels cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
it's
it
not
is
the worst thing in the world, but usually when you have shadow-defined attack zones, you don't have a dark area too, so you can more clearly see the area. That said, also dodging.
What is it?
And also some missed dodges, but hey. Oh yeah, also there's an attack that gave Matt a lot pain during the
it was a big black
giant
hole
explosion. And you can see me just nimbly dodge out of the way and for that one hit. Which was impressive, honestly, that it even happened that way.
Yeah, I was honestly kind of shocked when Daniel did that in real time. Because I'm like, wait, how'd you do that?
Yeah, more or less. Like, something to note about dodges,
That's so BS.
especially in this game, is that perfect dodges have a lot of invincibility frames, but also dodges in general are just really, really strong comparatively. But, yeah, so if you want to avoid a lot of damage, dodging is the better way.
It is the key to life.
Yeah. There I just popped the maximum tomato, more or less because I didn't want to
You didn't want to risk it.
risk dying. Now, I will note that, like, again, this is my first time fighting the boss. And more than that, first time playing the game itself and playing the mechanics.
Yeah, Chad kind of threw him in just like willy-nilly. I was just like, hey Daniel, can you beat this? You know?
I mean, to be fair, it's not like I didn't say myself that I wanted to just go in willy-nilly blind. But, yeah, so realistically, I could probably do this with less damage. And you will see me kind of do this with less damage eventually, but, yeah, honestly, I was playing rather sloppy, and
You was just kind of going for it.
Yeah, maximum tomato was not really what I wanted to do, but I could have probably done it. That said, also, that last shot on possessed Leo was pretty good, too. Right before the explosion happened.
Yeah, this game, you can get some good timing off in this game if you're lucky.
Yeah. And now comes the actually hard
difficult
part,
boss.
Morpho Knight fight.
Yep, time for this thing.
I think what makes Morpho Knight and, by extension, smaller enemies in this game more difficult is that you get used to fighting really big enemies.
It has a tiny hitbox.
Well, yeah, you get used to fighting big enemies with slow attack phases, whereas Morpho Knight is the complete opposite, where he's small and he's really fast. So trying to counter him without knowing how to, like, dodge or guard makes this, like, really, really painful. That said...
That and also having no cap.
That too.
What? Wait, what was that hitbox? The heck?
What,
like like just missing him for like that like split second. Not on that second shot, but on the shot before.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, is that, like, small enemies in Kirby games tend to have really wonky hitboxes, especially for 3D stuff. Like, it's already bad enough sometimes with 2D Kirby's, but, like, Morpho Knight had some really bad hitbox collisions, in my opinion.
Yeah, I played Nintendo slash, how many makes this game again? It's,
I believe it's Game Freak.
No, it's not Game Freak. It's the same guys that did like Smash, I think. Is it? What's the name of the Kirby dev again?
I don't remember. All I know is Sakurai. Matt, please tell me you're actually still recording.
I'm recording.
Well, anyway.
It's HAL, yeah, HAL Laboratory.
Yeah.
HAL does a good job. For a first time making a 3D Kirby game, they did honestly a really good job.
This is not their first 3D.
Wait, it's not?
Well, I think it might be their first open world 3D, but this is not their first 3D.
That was cheap.
What I'm thinking of is like 2.5D.
Yeah,
Honestly,
no, they've made 2.5D games.
Like, the thing is, I should have been able to dodge that. I just mistimed that, I think.
Yeah.
Now that, on the other hand, was bullshit.
Yeah.
And that definitely was.
You're like, what is that, chat? Oh, God, I forgot what it does to the camera.
It's a lingering hitbox, which is...
It lasts too long.
Yeah.
I forgot that it does that to the camera angle, God.
Yeah, that said, though, like, attacks like that aren't actually as bad as people think they are, because it mainly messes with the way you think in terms of what you see. When I play games, I actually don't tend to think about what I'm doing in terms of what I'm seeing, which is a kind of weird aspect that I blame PvP gaming for in a way. But more or less, like, the way I look at a game kind of is just the same way the game should work based on where I was, not what I'm looking at. So,
True.
like, for example, when I was illusioned, let's call it, by Morpho Knight, I didn't actually see myself like half or like 90 degrees on the screen. I just saw myself being there and then moving according to what I think I should be moving towards. It's one of those weird things about how the human mind works and who can turn such a thing off.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's odd, but hey, defeated. And we got a blueprint.
Defeated. Yes, that blueprint is going to become very useful in the later parts of this video, but...
We're gonna go talk to Leongar real quick, wake him up.
Yep, we need to just talk to him, and then we'll see the final cutscene. Well, not the final cutscene, but the...
final cutscene for the main story.
Exactly.
We have freed the giant lion. We have freed giant Alex the lion. We have freed Alex the lion from Madagascar.
We freed him by murder.
That is true. Oh, look. That's the cast of the other bosses.
Yep.
I like that. I like that.
The boss is here.
I legit do like that. At least the bosses are all just like helping out.
I mean, like, they are just Leo's followers. It's just that Leo kind of got corrupted somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
So they're not like intrinsically bad people.
No, it's not their fault. Whoever designed Elephas, or I forget how you say it. What? Why?
I feel like we had that discussion.
We definitely did. Like, it's just like, what is this world? Because, like, it's Forgotten Land. It's like, alright, you've got all these creatures. Why is all this technology here? It looks like it's been an apocalypse for like 100 years. Oh, okay, so it is.
I would blame humans. Anyway, so you'll notice that we're doing some cuts here. There was a lot of running around between these portions. We cut out the ending mainly because we don't want to get copyright.
Yeah, I don't know if the credits are going to be... Yeah, like, I just don't know if the credits are like a song that could strike me or not, so we felt it was safer to just move on, just skip to the parts that you actually want to see.
Yes, and we'll be skipping around a little bit more as well, mainly because we're going to rehash a lot of boss fights, and there's not really much point in just showing you me playing the boss fights again for like several hours.
Yeah,
so
we skipped
figured
around.
Might as well just make a highlight reel, as it were.
Pretty much, yeah. We're just like, you know what? We can just get to the important stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Oh yeah, and you'll also notice that I am trying out Morpho Sword, mainly because, well, this is my first real foray into trying a cap power-up, as it were.
True.
Oh yeah, also, we needed to do the second arena, because Matt had not done that previously, and we need to unlock the third arena. So, we're gonna have a brief montage of me kicking ass and taking names in this arena.
Yeah, he's just gonna be like, bosses. Meat sword.
Yeah, more or less.
I mean, like, you already get rid of, like, what, a third of her health there, almost? Like a fifth, maybe?
Yeah, like
with this weapon, all the bosses are so easy. As you can see, it took him 28 seconds to beat this boss. Or no, it's 28 seconds left. Is that 28 seconds or 28 seconds to beat the boss?
It's
you know, it's 28 seconds. Yeah.
But yeah, you can see, like, a lot of... Like, very little time is passing. You can see me just kind of rushing at enemies. One of the reasons why I'm rushing enemies so hard is because Morpho Knight has a very useful ability that if you deal damage to it, or damage with it, you regain some of the HP, or a set amount of HP per hit. So use it enough and you'll eventually get back to full HP, which makes it very, very useful if you're bum rushing people.
Yep. And here's the Meta Knight fight.
Yep.
And he's down.
And there goes the Meta Knight fight.
Yeah. Oh. He's like, oh crap.
And there he goes. But yeah, so there's more or less, like, this was more a training montage than anything. None of the bosses were, like, particularly strong, and we were just more or less testing out the limits of what this sword could do. Whilst we're watching this montage, though, I don't know if we actually gave final thoughts for Kirby.
I don't know if we did either, probably.
So...
But yeah, no, Chad, I liked this game. This game was fun. It was good. It was nice to have, like, a game that was, like, easy at the beginning, just a fun platformer, not too much to think about. Don't really have to deal with, like, a crazy story or anything. Just kind of, like, just a good time. And that's all I was expecting from Kirby. It was just, like, a nice, solid game that performed pretty well, had good performance. I enjoyed the game. I think it's very fun. I'll probably buy more Kirby games in the future now. Just because I like this game.
Kirby games are actually really fun.
Yeah, I just never played any back when I was a kid on the Wii or anything like that.
Yeah, I honestly like highly recommend Kirby games, especially like the old DS ones. I do actually recall that one of the first games we were gonna try doing as a stream was Kirby Superstar Ultra, and we just couldn't figure out how to get it working, so maybe we'll
it was like a little difficult. We were trying to do it through emulators over the internet, and it was like a little hard to figure out like how to get it to work. Yeah, we'll probably come back to that at some point if we can figure out how to get it to work. Yeah, but as you can see, there goes Leongar again.
And then we get to the Eflin boss. I don't recall if we did the full recording for this, but we will see. So this is my first time, like, fighting the final boss with one of the strongest powers in the game. Oh wait, no, hold on. It's
this Goop boss.
Yeah, Goop boss first.
Ecto Forgo.
And Goop boss is literally just attempting to run at
It's just hit it while you have iframes. It's just hit it while you have iframes, basically.
Yeah, like, the thing is, it doesn't damage you fast enough and hard enough for this to not be effective, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's kind of a pathetically easy boss.
Yeah, it's harder in the game because right afterwards you fight Eflin, but for this, no, you just run at it and just slap it a few times and you can heal after.
Yeah, and then here's the final boss, Chad.
I will say that whilst we will talk about the secret boss later, I do really like the Eflin boss, or Elfless boss. Elphilius, that's what it is. Yeah, Elphilius is actually, like, really fun to fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a good boss.
Yeah, most of the mechanics of it feel really airtight, and it's honestly, like, just genuinely fun to learn its attack patterns and, like, match it.
Except for some of the attacks are total bullshit. That's the only problem I have a problem with. Some of the attacks are just BS.
I'm not actually sure which ones you're talking about.
I'm trying to remember. I remember one of the attacks being BS.
Well, if you
we'll remember, I think it's in... I'll point it out when it happens.
Oh yeah, rocks.
I forgot what rocks. Rocks are fun, you say as you get hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, also I...
No idea how you dodge
wasn't
that.
This time. Yeah, I remember when you were doing it, I'm pretty sure you, like, ate the entire rock.
Oh yeah.
Which did not go very well.
It just smashed right into me. That was fun. And that was a good smack. You hit it before it could heal itself up, and also did some damage to it.
Yeah, more or less. Like,
if it did that attack every time, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, it's a res phase type thing, so Most res phases tend to have some way of dealing with it.
True. Rock time.
Well, at least these are all just smaller ones. But yeah, like, honestly, very fun boss, in my opinion.
Cool design.
That, like, design's okay. It's not the worst Kirby boss I've ever seen.
No.
But yeah, there we go. So,
The Ultimate Cup completed in barely 10 minutes.
Yep.
Right on record, I'm sure the speedrunner completely destroys it, but, I mean, I'm not a speedrunner, I never
you can
purported to be.
also level up your weapons far higher than what we did, but that would require just a lot of farming.
Alright, that's not fun.
Oh yeah, I think... Did we just cut to
the
final boss?
Yeah, we did. I think we did, yeah. Yeah, chat, so we're cutting to the final boss just because... Why not? Because otherwise it's pretty much just variations of the other same boss fights again.
We've seen the Forgo, Paradox, whatever versions of the bosses when Matt did it. We're just cutting to the final boss here. And this one's the first time here, so everything you see here is first reactions to everything.
Yeah, back when we were fighting it, we were all like, alright, so this is fun.
Yeah, honestly though, like, I really like the upgraded version of Elephas here. Like, it's strong enough to really constitute another level of the final boss and adds enough parts to it that it doesn't feel unfair. In fact, like, parts of it seem more fair than the original as well. So, like, this, I think, wasn't part of the original fight and was instead that one where Elephas was using the summoned swords on the ground, but they went upwards. Like, I think it fits better like this, in a way. It's kind of funny. Yeah, more or less, a lot of this boss, though, is just being patient.
It's a lot of just having to be careful, which is,
It's not a bad thing, all things considered.
That's
like,
pretty good.
I personally enjoy a boss like this. And then dodge, dodge, dodge. If there was one thing I would probably note as, like, a problem for the fight, it would mainly be Elephas's, like, normal 4-hit combo range seemed a little big. So, like, I would feel like I'm over the attack and then I would get swiped by it. But that might just be me. That said, beyond that, like, again, really nice fight. Maybe a few wonky hitboxes here and there, but more or less really good. And now we get to the second phase. And second phase is where things start getting good. I think this was maybe the part where we were freaking out the most because we were, or like you guys were freaking out the most because you were like, how are you supposed to dodge that? And then I immediately dodged it. Yeah, but real talk though, like, it's really fun. I really like that part of the fight. I kind of wish they used it more, too. And then there's 5 of them this time, but again, following the shadows is very important. And then you can see me doing an incredibly stupid idea of, hey, let's absorb all the stars and maybe I'll have enough damage to beat out the heal phase. Which is most certainly not what you want to do in that situation if you have the ability to constantly damage, but it's a thing you can do.
Yeah, it's definitely a strategy. It's just
it's a fun strategy, and we're here for fun. Now, this one, I will note that I had like no idea how to actually counter it this time, so for why I ran at it instead of waiting, that's more or less why. I figured that it would end, like, the lasers would end faster if I got to the beginning first, but no, it was just more or less waited out. Which is a bit of a shame. Also, Circle Kirby. This one was kind of fun.
This
so
one,
like
yeah.
having, yeah, just basically having
just
to
look at the
navigate,
lines.
Yeah. Well, it's not just looking at the lines, because I think the lines spawn where you are, or in conjunction to where you are. So you actually have to bait the lines into being in a position where you can dodge them. So it's a very fun mechanic. You don't really see it all that often, I think, but it does show up every now and then. Oh yes, I forgot the rocks had explosions too. The rocks having explosions was kind of annoying. But also, infinite hover! Or near infinite hover. Oh yeah. But yeah, like, the boss really demands a lot of attention, which I like.
It's where you definitely have to, like, actually know what the hell you're doing.
Yep.
Or just spam the like that.
Absorb the sword!
I am the bone of my sword.
That actually gets the reference now.
Yeah, I do. I do get the reference now. I get the reference to that. I get Fate references now. And I also get Madoka references. And I also get Steins Gate references now.
It's honestly been a long road for all of us in various regards.
Yeah, he showed me Madoka chat while we fight the boss. And I was suppressed for 2 days. That was fun. That show baits you in with a false sense of security.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we recorded this, and we've done a lot of stuff.
He's finally made me watch a bunch of anime, and it actually is really good.
Yeah.
And there were some shows that we watched that we all were like, no. I tried to watch Food Wars, and I have to I'm like, this is too much.
Well, anyway, on to the secret boss and the true final boss of the game, and in true Kirby fashion, it's a pain in the ass.
Circles. So, also, yay, baiting with a black hole.
Yeah, so I will preface this in saying
that's
that
unfair.
even at the end of this video, I still have no idea how to properly counter it. So later on, I will try and dodge away. I don't dodge away fast enough unless I'm using Morphonite specifically. And yeah, I don't really know what to do in that situation. I don't particularly like this phase of the fight too much, personally. I think it's
cheap.
Fine, but it's certainly not intuitive, is my personal complaint with it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
now, that said, most of this is not actually that difficult in my opinion, but I will also note that when we record stuff like this, we're usually all together, as in our friend group, so I don't really want to spend all of the time.
He doesn't want to spend like 3 hours doing this.
Yeah, 3 hours doing this and then nobody else does anything. Though I will also note that getting sent back to the very first bit, or first phase of the fight, was annoying.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't let you just say, hey, do you want to pay maybe 200 instead of 100 to get back to where you were? Like, that should be an option. Like, make it cost a little more to be like, alright, well, you want to skip that phase? Okay, sure, fine. Because that would make it at least a little bit more fair. Like, it costs more to just get further along. Like, obviously, then you make it so you can't just pay to skip this boss on your first route. Once you beat this one, it should let you have the option of skipping ahead.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, though, it's somewhat better than the Kirby game I played before, Kirby Superstar Ultra. Effectively, there were no continues, so if you fucked up at any part, you just had to redo all the fights over again. So that's really difficult, but I think it was also counterbalanced by the bosses being a little bit more easily telegraphable. So like you knew what the bosses would do a little bit easier than you do in Forgotten Land. Or at least in my opinion, that's how it works. Like something to note about Forgotten Land 2 is that comparatively to other Kirby games, it's really fast, which I think lends itself into the game's favor for being like a very fast-paced, high-action game, but also makes some aspects of the design philosophy of the game kind of annoying. But that's just a me note. But, yeah, you'll just kind of see me lose the sword power-up every now and again. That's another thing, too, that I've never figured out about Kirby games, is just, how do you lose power-ups? Like, you lose power-ups from getting hit, certainly, but then also, like, what amount of damage constitutes a power loss? Because sometimes you'll just lose the power randomly from just contacting the enemy, which can then be problematic in its own right?
Agreed.
That said, back to Final Form Chaos Atlas. Oh yeah, also if you notice that Kirby just spins around a bunch sometimes in a circle, that's just a habit I do to just make sure that I am constantly moving.
He's just trying not to die.
Well, no, not just that, but also I usually subscribe to the mentality that if I'm in a position where I need to be actively fighting, I don't want to stay still because I get too engrossed in the idea of I'm okay, I can stay still. So it's like a defense mechanism, yeah. So more or less, training myself to just spin around so I'm adaptive and can respond to like movements that need to be fast is something that I just like to practice as a personal opinion.
It's a good strategy, honestly, chat, for most games. Because if you stand still, you're not going to be attacked anyway.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of camping at God.
Yeah, most action RPGs do not like you just sitting around in one spot to just do.
Yeah.
You usually do need to like keep moving around to not get yourself bodied.
Pretty much. That was me with the Tears of the Kingdom, or not Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild prequel, Age of Calamity, I think it was. The Musou game.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty much my strategy. I was just keep moving around.
Yeah, it's not a bad.
I got taking pot shots at everything. Once I got like
That's
a bow.
also not a bad strategy.
I'm like, this is annoying. But no, I like that game. That game was good. Just it completely killed the frame rate anytime an enemy did something on screen. Heck, even when I was using some of the like, I think it was, I don't know if it was Pura or one of the other Sheikah warriors, but like when they were just launching just like infinite bombs, it lagged the hell out of the Switch.
Nice. Also, I killed the final phase faster this time.
And with less damage taken.
I do kind of find it annoying that if you lose to the fight, you still have to do that part.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, chat, as I probably said at the time when we were like first recording this, it was great fun when it just completely would kill your Joy-Con. Thankfully, he's using a Pro Controller.
Right, but it still doesn't feel nice.
No, it's rude. Because, like, look, he lost more than half his health now.
Yeah. I mean, additionally, also, like, you can see me running away and I'm just pulled in too hard. Like I said, also, I would try eventually to dodge with Morpho Knight, and Morpho Knight seems to be the only thing that can dodge out of it at long range, mind you. So if you don't have Morpho Knight, how are you supposed to dodge that? I don't really get it personally. I will also note that we do go into these fights with like a maximum tomato, but in most cases we would just have to use it beforehand, which was frustrating to say the least. I believe this is a... Was this a new run, or did we actually pay for this one? I don't remember.
I do not remember.
Yeah, but this one was getting really... This was, I think, either a later occurrence, as in we had stopped and done something else for a bit, or this was the last attempt of that particular bit of recording. So I'm playing a lot more sloppily now because I'm just getting tired of having to fight the boss, and I'm like running out of time, more or less. And this will start becoming an issue as the fights continue on, so keep note of that. I think, yeah, that is the first time they did that attack, though, and aside from the flames, I really like that attack in terms of, like, the amount of attention it demands, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna streak across the floor and then leave a trail of fire. You better be paying attention to where I'm leaving that fire, though. I also like how fast it is. I think I said this earlier in the video, but I really like fast bosses. Fast boss design is so much more interesting than slow boss design, mainly because you have to keep thinking on your feet. Though I will also preface that with that slow bosses can be enjoyable as well, but you really need to make the player think about how to engage with the boss based on the boss's rules and how the game works if you try to make a slow boss work. And usually that doesn't go as well for people, or for boss design, so if you are an aspiring game dev, keep that in mind. Speed and pace of gameplay is important. But yeah, like, the ability to dodge makes this fight so much easier. Like, if Matt did not get stopped by Morpho Knight, he probably would have gotten stopped here, I think. Though, as we said before in the stream, it is very impressive that Matt got as far as he did for his first Kirby game as well. So, props to that. But also laser beam. I will also note that it's very interesting how this boss fight, or how this particular boss fight went, because there were so many things that Elephas didn't do the first two fights that I suddenly had to get used to. Like the quick diving slashes, the laser beam on phase 1. It's very interesting how it all works out. Matt, what about you? Do you have any other comments?
I mean, that attack's bullshit. I don't know, like,
the thing about it
it's
is
like
that
there's almost no way to dodge it. That's my problem. Is I don't like the attacks you can't dodge. That's why I didn't like RPGs for the longest time. It's because I'm like, oh, I just can't dodge this, or I'm getting crit for no reason, or stuff like that. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Okay, RPGs, I'll give you that. Sometimes that's bullshit, but that attack is actually one of the easier attacks to dodge, mainly because the attack comes out so fast, it doesn't actually register the full hitbox. Like, it might cover the entire map, but it does so within the frame in which you can do a dodge. So if you dodge at all during it, you basically guaranteed you dodge the entire game. Which is
Yes, that's true.
really kind of interesting.
I'm agreeing with you. I just said I guess that's true. I'm agreeing with you.
But yeah, like, I don't think it's nearly as bad as some of the other moves, and certainly not as bad as the 2 final boss.
Oh yeah, no, that boss is just BS. Like, this is not too bad, comparatively, at least.
Yeah,
I faced some worse bosses in my day.
Yeah.
I don't know how you dodge that one.
This boss is very balanced, in my opinion. 2 final boss is not balanced.
No. Which is why if this game was on PC, you could bet there'd be mods to turn that in.
Yeah, probably. Then again, we'd also.
I mean, there's trainers for like the Dark Souls kind of stuff that like lowers the health and damage that done to enemy yourself.
Huh.
Which like that's probably like the only reason way I'll play like a Dark Souls game is just because they're too hard. Like I know the point is to be difficult, and I know get good is the strategy, but like. I don't want to deal with it. It's just annoying to have to get good. Just I want to take as much damage. Like nothing should be able to like if you get deep enough into a game, nothing should be able to one-shot you anymore.
I mean, I think it's one of those cases of the opinions of the person that is playing the game. I suppose.
True. And now
yeah,
chat, we're skipping to
I like
this.
how we cut before the boss just died. Also, yeah, you see there.
Spam dodging.
Yeah, spam dodging with the strongest dodge in the game.
Barely.
I do try doing, I believe, capless.
You try to see if that was some viable strat.
Core Elephas?
Yeah, it's Elephas.
No, but that's what the main thing
is.
Oh,
then Core.
Yeah, so Core Elephas. I tried dodging with normal dodge at some point, and it just doesn't work. Also, this attack does way too much damage for...
lasers.
Yeah, for how easy it is to get hit. And then also has, like, the worst telegraphed hitbox in the game so far. Like, it might be a random hitbox, but it just is not something you can visibly determine where you're getting hit from. I don't know how I dodged those 2 lasers, all things.
I don't either, honestly.
And then we get
next phase. Fire.
And let me tell you, here's one thing that I did notice in this game that is a major problem. So,
rock.
Well, not rocks, but jump height.
Yeah, jump height is not good in this game.
Yeah, jump height is not something I thought I would ever complain about in a Kirby game, but it does. Well, firstly, it's not a very clear indication of what you should do there, so that's kind of sucks. But also, I think right here, right? So I'm used to Kirby games where you can literally go up to the ceiling of an area and just continue to jump, right?
Yeah.
And get up. But as you saw there, I couldn't even reach the second highest or second lowest platform, which I think is kind of stupid. I don't think you should be able to infinitely jump in this type of game.
You should at least be able to get to the second platform if you're good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so I think that's a bit of a flaw, personally.
Yeah.
Anyway, so at this
point, boss
we
rush.
Reset. Yeah, we're recording this part for any interesting bits, but more or less nothing in particular.
We're just trying to keep the maximum tomato, basically.
Yeah, we tried keeping the maximum tomato, and well, that didn't really go well.
No, as you'll see, it didn't go very well. Why we kill Wispy Woods again?
Yes, Wispy Woods is the boss killer. Honestly, out of the Phantom bosses, I think the hardest of them were... Well, it was mainly just Phantom DDD, though I'm also fairly certain that Phantom Meta Knight was also a fair bit of a problem, but Phantom Meta Knight was still doable, but Phantom DDD, oh man, that was just rough. Always a Sunday on that one. But, yeah. More or less just continuing on with the bosses. Oh, I do believe that the Silly Dillo was decently hard, but also I feel like he just spent more time in iframes or constant damage frames than the last, which was, I guess, more the issue. Though, in saying that, it does look like Goromondo took out nearly all of my HP, so I don't know what that really says about me dying that much to the first boss. And back to Phantom Meta Knight.
Yep.
I will say, though, that Meta Knight in this game, whilst maybe not the most reasonable boss, he is definitely one of the more fun versions of Meta Knight to come out of Kirby games, I think. But yeah, you can see here that in the middle of the Forgo DDD fight, I had to ditch the Maximum Tomato. So we more or less just said this will be our last couple of runs here. And as you'll see, we'll do like more or less flash cuts of the final boss, since we've shown off as much of the boss as we could. But because I'm not sure if we'll show it or if we'll like just keep it at the end screen or not, we do not actively beat the boss, unfortunately, on this one. So it's more or less that we've gotten to Chaos Elephas and not beaten Core Elephas. So unfortunately, our Kirby Forgotten Land playthrough is not fully complete. Maybe one day we'll go back to the fight again, and I will try it when we have like a lot more time to invest into it. But at the moment, we currently stand at just the true final boss being undefeated. That said, I think we've gotten enough of the game done that it doesn't really matter. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good with like where we ended up, honestly. I don't really need to beat the final boss of the game. We at least saw it and got close to beating it. So I'm okay with that. There's points in the game where I'm like, no, I'm satisfied. Like, that was me with like Breath of the Wild. I did all the shrines, I did all the dungeons, and then I was like, you know what, I'm done. I don't need to keep going, get all the Koroxes. I don't need to 100% complete this game. I'm good where I stand.
Yeah, I think that's a good mentality.
Like, I don't know, there comes to a point in any game where I'm like, I'm kind of just done. I want to go play something else.
Yeah, I think we hit that for Kirby, and at least we got the main story.
Yeah. For some other, like, it depends on, like, for games, I try to at least put, like, at least 20-ish hours into them, unless they're, like, really atrocious video games. In which case, I'll just quit. But for, like, games like most games, I want to try to get at least as much stuff done as possible, including some side quests. There's always stuff I'll skip in a game. Like, there's some side quests I'll be like, I don't need to do that. But for the most part, I'm just gonna try and play at least most of the game to see what's going on with it. Like, I want to, you know, get the full picture, see all the stuff developers spend time working on.
Indeed.
Otherwise, all that stuff just goes to waste.
I agree. So, yeah, maybe in the future you might see a video of us having.
Maybe we'll beat it at some point.
Elephas.
No, don't count on it.
Probably don't count on it, but it'll probably be like a just final fight short video with no commentary in that case. It'll just be raw gameplay. Yeah,
it'll just be gameplay of, hey, here you go, no commentary.
Yeah, no guarantees on when it's going to happen, but it might happen eventually.
Yeah, all in all, I do think this game is good, and I quite enjoyed my time with it. It's a good game. I hope that they make more of them.
Oh, we're definitely going to get more Kirby games eventually, but,
yep.
Yeah. As we wrap up the video, do we have any final thoughts?
I don't have any final thoughts. Those is pretty much where my final thoughts is. It's a good game. The final boss, when it's just Core Elephas, is BS, but, I mean, It's a hidden boss.
Chaos
90.
Elephant, though.
It's a boss that most people want to see. So it's whatever. It's there for the people who really want to beat the challenge. I'm sure speedrunners have already figured out exploits they can do. But that's always what they do.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I could probably have looked up ways of fighting it as well, but I was just done at this point. As you can see,
you've been fighting it for like an hour. Yeah.
I was fighting it for more than that, man. Yeah, I was just tired at this point, and I just wanted to stop. So, yeah, that is where we will end it. I hope you did like this style of video, though. This is something we're going to try out in the case of Matt not being able to complete games. I will give it a shot. So let us know how we did. If you want to see more videos in this style of editing, tell us how the jump cuts were and whether or not we cut too much or too little. And yeah, just like, comment, and subscribe.
Yep, and then feel free to catch us play these games live on Twitch at twitch.tv/MatthewSpace. We'll be there on Twitch usually about 3 to 5 days a week. We're there usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at around 8 in the evening Pacific time. Feel free to use Google to convert that to your local time zone. And that's all I got to say. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.